Hello everyone, and welcome back to the channel. JC here with another video on Action Taimanin. Today we're gonna check Annerose limited pack, but before we start don't forget to leave a like, share and subscribe if you enjoy the content. Also, we're doing a poll on which character I should be leveling up next, so be sure to vote on that video. I'm gonna leave a link here and let's go back to the video. So, we already have the Wedding Witch pack for Annerose. This is her limited pack. She comes with, of course, the skin, the weapon, the SR weapon, and the gems. So if you want to get it. Of course, there's gonna be controversy because this character in particular is paywall, and some people may not be willing to buy 2 packs to get the character and the weapon. Perhaps they should have made another pack that includes Annerose with this one. So let's see. We also have the gacha. The gacha comes, of course, with Bright Annerose and the weapon. We're gonna check the one that I have because it's already maxed out. So that's gonna be a little bit more convenient. So starting with the weapon, Bouquet Sword increases damage and pulling speed. No, increases range, not damage. Increases range and pulling speed of darkness. Allies within range of darkness have critical rate increase by 50% and damage by 20%. I gotta admit, this is mostly going to affect melee attackers because the range attackers are gonna be away from the enemy. But it is a very significant buff. The critical damage does feel even in VR. But it depends on which step you're on, because the higher you are, the more resistance they have. So at some point, it's gonna be like nothing. But at 70, it was meaningful enough, in my opinion. At floor 70, that I did the testing, and I'm going to do the testing. So yeah. For those who do not know, very quickly, Darkness is the all blue skill for Annerose. It's a circle. She throws her what's the name? Her trunk into the floor, and then this expands a circle, and it's going to pull the enemies and deal a bunch of hits. It reduces the enemy's defense with 1 blue, increases the duration with 2 blue, and increases damage with 3 blue. I mean, the most benefit is definitely on 2 blue because you increase the duration, but the first effect is not that impressive, and the third effect is just if you want to use her as a damage dealer. One thing to notice is that unfortunately the kit for Annerose doesn't synergize perfectly because this is meant to be supportive, and Annerose, I mean, she has a couple deals and everything, but it's not that synergistic with her, in my opinion. Let's see. The next one. Let's go with here, Annerose. By the way, as you notice, this should be over here. The rarity like setting should put the newest supporter on top, but for some reason Annerose is behind Chizuru, Dancer Chizuru. So if you couldn't find her, maybe it's because of that. I was really worried the first time this happened. I thought I'd burn my S5 Annerose by accident, but fortunately it was just some kind of glitch. So Bright Annerose Vaja. When a critical hit does not occur, critical rate increases by 20%, which stacks. The effect resets upon a critical hit. So the more you do not crit, the more chances you have of critting. Then when you crit, the critical rate goes away. Then increase critical damage of all attacks by 40%. That's the second part is actually very good. We don't have that many critical blue supporters, and the ones that we do usually have some kind of restriction, like Reina and Kaito are both range, and Kaito needs the enemy to be ensnared. So it is really, really good that we have a generic blue damage increase supporter. That it works for critical, and that's not great for VR, but in every other mode, it's going to be really useful. Then, increases penetration by 24% against stunned enemies, and the active throws a suitcase forward from which confetti explodes and deals 1120 groggy damage. So yeah, it is okay. I mean, I do like it, but there's one big problem with this. In VR, this doesn't give you consistency in regard to crits. They feel like actual crits, like something that happens every now and then. If they wanted to make this for VR, they should have given us a duration, like when critical hit does not occur, critical rate increases by 20%, which stacks by 20% for 5 seconds, which stacks. So then you will have 5 seconds, and the more you miss, the more chances you have to crit. And then at some point, you're gonna have 5 seconds of guaranteed crits, and that's gonna be amazing because we're gonna take advantage of that. And it's not on one hit; it would be on multiple hits. Like just a small detail, a small adjustment would have made this supporter good for VR. I mean, it's not bad for VR, but it's just not consistent enough for VR. And most of the time, you're gonna be wasting this damage increase. That's the problem. So it's not really a good idea to put it on VR when you can get consistent damage on another kind of supporter. For example, let's see, blue. I'm gonna limit myself to blue. Arabelle is always going to give you that 40% damage. Felicia is always going to give you that 30% damage, and if yours is at 26% more, so yeah, there's better options for sure on blue, depending on context, depending on who you're facing. The three big supporters are great options. So yeah, although this is good in its own way, it is not the greatest. But there are some niches within VR, and there are some things that we have to discuss too. For example, this is great for newer players because you're going to increase your chances of critting. Usually at the beginning of the game, you do not have weapons which are enchant. Enchantment increases the stats of the weapon, and you have a higher chance of dealing critical hits. So landing critical hits. So it is a good way to increase your damage as a newer player. But would I recommend to get this as a newer player? It's a difficult choice because probably you didn't buy Annerose and you're not willing to spend money on the game, so maybe not. I mean, because you might get the weapon instead of the supporter. So yeah, it's kind of complicated. Now, let's go to tower, and let's start with Annerose. So I'm gonna use Annerose, and I'm going to put this. So I'm going to be using the weapon. It's 5 out of 5 plus 15, and this beat stick 5 out of 5 plus 15 pure critical damage, of course. I'm going to be using Darkness, Devour, and Yaksha Unbound. No, Yaksha Unbound I'm going to change for the Yaksha 8 style. Let me explain. So, Darkness, of course, we want to take advantage of the skill that is enhanced with the weapon, and it's going to pull the enemies. This makes a synergy that allows you to hit the enemies in the meantime with your basic attacks, but also you could use Devour to recover HP. All the enemies are going to be gathered in one place, so Devour is going to be able to hit multiple enemies and recover a ton of HP. Devour is super important, and going pure is super important because you need the HP recovery. If you wanted to go mix, you would need to go to green to get the HP recovery on Madosen, but in that case you only get the 10% pulling effect, and that's not great, and you reduce the duration of the skill. So I do not recommend that if you use the weapon, go pure. So What's the problem with Annerose? She's no like buffer, she's no debuffer, she's a damage dealer, and she isn't on pair with the strongest damage dealers in the game. So that's the issue here, that she, as a damage dealer with supported capabilities, she's lacking, and that's why this weapon and supporter don't feel as strong. If we receive content where there are multiple enemies, then more challenging content with multiple enemies without super armor, this is gonna become way better. Let's see. And maybe if we have a PvP mode with multiple people in there, it's gonna be good. Let's see. So yeah, for the supporters, yeah, the supporters. The supporters are gonna be, of course, Annerose. I'm also going to use Kirara to increase my damage, and I'm going to use Arabella. Truth be told, the problem with blue is that there aren't that many good options for damage dealing. They are all like restrictive in some way. For example, Lily only for blue. Let's see. These three are great, but only for a pure stage. This is a mixed stage. There are a mixture of enemies. This is for a green character. You see, there's always limitations on blue, so I have to go with this. So this is gonna be very quick. And Annerose is kind of strong. My Annerose is kind of strong. So let's see. And we're also going to talk about a couple more synergies that happen. By the way, I almost forgot. Annerose also gets the benefit of the buff of darkness as long as you get inside the area. So I just do this, and you can see that I gain this buff. It's pretty good. Okay. So now the problem is Edwin's ability to escape. Okay, now I'm going to use this. And I'm going to use the active too. Perfect. There we go. Yeah, if you time everything right, you are gonna have less of a problem against Edwin. Because of his invincibility and teleport, those are very annoying. So I just do this. Excellent. Okay. I guess ultimate, why not? Oh, come on, really? Here, come. Oh, why you? Okay. Yeah, I'm gonna defeat it just like that. You see, I deal a huge amount of damage. So the critical rate is super good. The problem is that the only way of challenging content is VR. Like this is super challenging compared to everything else in the game. And this has the demerit that the more you advance, the less chances of dealing critical damage you have. So landing a crit you have. So if we omit this, and if that was not a thing, this would be like really busted, because it basically guarantees that you're going to crit most of the time. I mean, just by enhancing the weapons you would. In any case, there's more things that we need to discuss. Like, this is not the only character that has great benefit just by using this. For example, Astaroth. So Astaroth is going to represent fast attackers. I put this, I put... where was this woman? Yeah. And I'm also going to use Reina. I'm not going to dwell on it too much. And I'm going to change Shuttle or Satellite there for Supernova. And I'm going to keep Serpent because the tracking skill is just so good. And let's go with Noah's. So yeah, obviously my weapons are maxed out. Astro's weapons are maxed out. The Magatamas are the same, full crit. You already saw the skills, basic attack. This is super important. Use this basic attack instead of this one because the speed is higher and you deal a bigger amount of multi-hits, which is it synergizes with Annerose critical chance increase, just so that you know. So fast attackers have more chances of landing those critical hits because of the stacks that you are accumulating. So that also means that attackers with butterfly weapons do get a ton of benefit from this. Yeah, I'm not dealing that much damage because these are mobs, but against the boss I'm gonna deal more damage. So I just do this and done with the mobs. And I mean, you can see that every now and then I get the critical rate buff, but it quickly disappears because obviously I deal critical damage. And that resets the stacks. And just a couple more hits. And now I have to do it backwards. There. Nice. Yeah, Azor is just too strong. As a damage dealer, I mean. Okay. Boop. Okay. Ultimate 2. Just to clear the mobs and the sub-boss. And now... Supernova! Yum! Yeah, it's strong. So yeah, fast attackers do get a bunch of benefits from this, and that's not the only kind of attackers that you want. You also want multi-hit attackers. Multi-hit attackers like Rin. For Rin, I'm going to go mix because it's convenient to go mix with Rin. I did a test on Pure Blue, but Pure Blue isn't that strong for Rin. Preferably you don't. I mean, you can, but you don't have HP recovery, and that's risky. So I'll see who I put in the main, but on the meantime, I'm going to put her and Arabella. No, maybe I can go to... No, because the benefit would be... I was thinking of going to green, but I think this is fine. Volt Rush. It's a shame, but we cannot use Volt Rush unless we go pure. Volt Rush is one of the strongest skills for her. So let's see. Increase the duration. Critical. We're gonna use then the basic enhancer for sure. Bolt Spin. And... Okay. I'm gonna be using Electric Volt for utility. It's a shame that I don't get the effect, the last effect, but we're gonna do it this way to show a mixed build where we're going to use a bunch of critical. Let's see. No, yeah, because I'm using this to pull the enemies. Like, is there something else that I would want? Reduce the enemy's speed. No. No. Makes the enemy groggy. No, I'm gonna go with this. So let's test it. And now this is gonna be fairly simple. I just have to use the skill that pulls. And basically the problem with this character is the lack of super armor. So as you can see, I'm having troubles finishing the basic attack combo. But she deals a ton of damage, she has HP recovery. So that's not a problem. If I had Volt Rush, it would be way easier. Because that skill does have a good amount of super armor and it doesn't get interrupted that easily. Perfect. So for this one, I'm gonna start with the active, then excellent, dealing damage to all of them. And I'm also going to use the ultimate. Yeah, I just want to get rid of the mobs. Okay. So I just wait for that attack to finish. I hate that pit. Another active. Yeah, I think I'm gonna have enough time. I didn't mention this, but I already enhanced the cooldown duration for supporters to max with the awakening skills. So that's why my cooldown is so short. So I wish like there was a way to lock onto the enemy. That would be really useful. I mean, maybe there is and I forgot, but the thing is that the camera moves around. I mean, technically it's locked onto this enemy, but when the enemy gets out of the view, my point of view, the camera doesn't move to see the enemy. So, yeah, that's annoying. Come on. No, 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 no. Yeah, I have to move to avoid healing Edwin. And I have to be aware of the super armor so that I launch this attack on the right moment, I guess. Like this. Okay, I'm also going to use the ultimate. Yeah, I don't have the greatest damage against him. Or perhaps it's just the defensive buff that doesn't allow me to eliminate him. Come on. Done with him. Yeah, but since I'm able to survive, it doesn't really matter because of the HP recovery. So now I do this. And I use the active. And again I use this skill. And I heal myself. Rinse and repeat, yeah. Okay. There we go. Just a couple more hits and I'm gonna deal with all of them. Come on, like that. Yeah, HP recovery. Yeah, I'm lacking a ton of damage, right guys? Oh, come on. No. That's gonna be a problem. Now I have to wait. Come on. Like that. And now, recover HP. Use the active. Perfect. So already dealt with this one. With the two mid-boss. Well, mid-bosses, technically. And now... Where are you, Edwin? Nice. Yep. Oh, come on. I was expecting to eliminate him with the circle. Yeah. There we go. So, multi-hit attackers do get a bunch of benefit because they're going to be able to stack the critical rate increase. And there's another thing, this one. Rin also falls into that category, but I would mix characters that increase critical damage on blue skills, on pure blue skills. That's also the kind of characters that you want to use with Annerose. I'm gonna use the fast build for Kirara. Kirara is usually a slow attacker, but she has ways to become fast. Number one, you want to use Lapis. Number two, you want to use Leopard Sprint. And number three, you can equip another character because Leopard Sprint is on the main. So you put Lapis on the main and you put other speed increase supporters like Momoi, like Noah doesn't work on her, I think. Yeah, because she's protect. Well, in any case, let's see. So I'm going to be using Lapis, Annerose, and Lilim. For skills, I'm going to use using Frigid Zone to reduce the defense and speed of the enemy, Leopard Spring to gain speed, and Snow Veil to deal damage. Yeah, this is going to be super, let's say easy. I mean, she doesn't have HP recovery, but she does deal damage. Last time I wasn't able to beat this stage. I'm gonna give up this character. I'm gonna give up some my speed in favor of damage and HP recovery. Yep, that's what I want. Oh, really? Oh, I need to do this. So I'm gonna use the mouse for this one. So Lilim, Annerose, Kirara. Yep. Leopard, Frigid Zone, Snow Veil. Weapon, yeah, perfect. Everything's fine. For Kirara, you can use this, but there's also something that we should mention. The Momoi weapons get a ton of value from this support, especially on VR, because you're able to crit every now and then, and that's going to keep the stacks up, and you're going to gain a lot of value. So yeah, Momoi weapons are now a thing on VR thanks to Annerose. That's interesting, isn't it? So if you don't have a good weapon for a supportive character, you can just use Annerose along with the Momoi weapon. Let's see. So yeah, we're gonna do this very quickly. So with these weapons, with the limited one, I'm gonna deal a ton of damage. As you can see, I easily eliminated everyone. Because of the huge damage increase that I have. Critical damage increase, I mean. I just there. And erase. Okay, just. I'm confused, I see. Come on, just. Oh, it's the HP recover attack. Well, doesn't matter, I haven't hit Edwin that much. I'm just gonna wait for him to activate my Frigid Zone. Yup. Come on, Edwin. Nice. Look at that slow, look at that damage. Excellent. Yup. He's a slow attack that locks him in place. I love it. I love it. Yep. Leopard. And there we go. I still need one particle. So I'm going to do this, and I position myself properly to deal the most damage. I also use the active of the supporter, and there we go. Perfect. That's what I wanted. Come on. Oh no! That was my mistake. Because I hold the button where I shouldn't. I tried to evade, but I was holding the wrong button. But I was about to beat it. God, what a shame. Well, you know that this is strong. And besides, my Kirara, as you saw, it's 77. So she's kind of weakish. Well, weakish, but considering that she has all of these awakenings. So she could be stronger, or she could do this easily. Let's see. So yeah, let's check this on BR too, because you probably want to use this on BR. We're gonna do 2, and there's some things to take into consideration when doing the runs on BR. So yeah, for this I'm going to remove this and this, and I'm going to change Azeroth to the main. I'm going to put no, I'm going to leave it at that, and I'm going to put Annerose, because you probably want to see Annerose. Azeroth here. Yeah, I'm not going to change her build right now. And we, of course, we're not going to use these ones. We're going to use the anti-demon ones. No debate on that part. Because even if we crit, and we have bigger chances of critting with this build, it's VR, you know? So we're gonna put Annerose. We're gonna put this for Rin, and which one? Oh yeah, Kirara, for sure. The build is exactly the same. I mean, you could use Jackson Bound. It's a good skill, but like in that case, you have too many supportive skills, and you want the 4th slot for the basic enhancer. Well, technically for Jackson Bound, but yeah. So let's test this super quickly. First, we're gonna test the weapon and supporter on Annerose, and then we're gonna test the supporter on someone else. So yeah, first thing that we should do, use darkness. Get near and start hitting like crazy. Oh, wait a moment. 71. Okay. This is a good step. Yeah, I thought it was like higher, and higher would be deadly for me. So as you can see, we are seeing something that we usually don't. Crits on VR. That's interesting, isn't it? So yeah, it does increase the consistency of crits on VR, this supporter. And the weapon too, because of the area that gives you a buff. So yeah, it's noticeable enough in my opinion. So it is better than I actually expected. Come on. And I'm going to use the ultimate. And she uses the ultimate, and she has critical rate increase and damage. And I use this one more time, and I use the active. You see? And you're not only increasing your own critical rate. Thanks to the weapon, you also increase the critical rate of your allies. And gathering the enemies on BR is pretty good. Like, I think they were thinking about Queen Kanaloa when they did this, because then you put the mobs in one place and you can focus them. Yeah, and the stage is not that big compared to Machine BR. I mean, the skill is useful, but not as useful as in this one, as in this stage. So yeah, so no problem at all. Well, I didn't have any damage reduction to begin with. Now, I'm going to change it. I'm going to be using this. And I'm going to talk about the things that you shouldn't be doing with this supporter. I mean, you can, but it's not optimal. So, who do I want? I have a healing supporter, I have a damage dealer, I need another damage dealer. Preferably one that gives me utility. I guess I'll use Oboro. Yeah, I had Oboro before, so yeah. Unfortunately, I don't have a better S-level for the weapon, but 2 will suffice. 1, 2, 3, there we go. Nice, nice. So red, yeah. This is great because it gives sustain to Oboro. She was having trouble with a more aggressive build, so I decided to change it to have sustain. A Weak Slasher, Blooming Carnage, and Hypnosis Seal. 2 ways to inflict mind control. This is going to increase the duration of mind control, so it's great. So yeah. And for hair, we're going to change to blue. So I'm going to need hair, and this, and also Kirara. I'm gonna put it on the main, why not? So yeah, let's go with something blue. So there we go. This is well, the thing that we're gonna discuss here is timing your attacks, because one thing that you can do, but is not optimal on BR due to the timer, is to get 3 stacks and then wait a moment. Oops. I forgot to change the skills. You get 3 stacks and then you use your skills, your powerful skills. Here I'm gonna be using Supernova. So let's see how good this is. The idea of this is that you get 3 stacks. If it's 20%, if it's 10%, you would need 6 stacks of critical rate, and then you use your powerful skills so that they crit. But it is not like the greatest idea, because timing the skills is not the best, considering that you want to deal as much damage as fast as possible. So you don't want to sit on your skills and to wait for a better critical chance. I mean, it's good, but it is not great on the timer. Okay, 1, 2, 3. Oh, come on. I deal a crit and then I don't have the stacks. That's another thing. With a fast attacker, it is very difficult to abuse this kind of strategy. Slow attackers are way simpler. You can just deal a couple hits and then you use your super powerful skill, preferably with critical damage increase on blue. So yeah, that's the thing you can do. But as I mentioned, it is not optimal. You should try to avoid that kind of strategy. Well, I guess I will. But who? I don't think I do have her weapon, but yeah, no. I'm going to change Oboro, but the question is for who I'm going to change Oboro. This is the last one, and it's going to show you a build where... No, I'm going to do this. First, I keep this Astaroth, like this. And then I remove these Magatamas because I want my Astros to deal damage. Then I'm gonna be using a character with a Momochi weapon, but who has a good Momochi weapon level? I'm gonna go to my weapons, S level, and I'm going to see which Momochi weapons are at a good S level. Like as you can see, okay, Kurenai, but I don't want to use Kurenai. Emily, Lapis. Lapis, I will put it on Lapis, why not? Okay, acceptable. Yeah, I just need to change the weapon then. I go to 71 once again. And what I'm going to do is that I remove this. I put this here. I remove and I give her some Magatamas. No, wait. That is water. I need ice. Where is the other ice? Ice. Ice. Perfect. And now, no effect. Grass. There we go. So, what are we doing here? We are changing Arabella for Annerose. She is not exactly a fast attacker. She has moral boost, she has piercing dash, and gem support. Yeah, this is kind of fine. The basic enhancer wouldn't be a bad option. But I do want moral boost. So I'm gonna keep it as this. And the important part is that this weapon is going to land crits every now and then, dealing a debuff onto the enemy that increases my damage with every character. So that's why we use the combo Annerose with a Momochi weapon. Now, yeah, I'm gonna keep using Oboro because she's just... Wait a moment, guys. She's just abusive enough. Let's see. This, and this. Let's see. 1, 2, 3, 4. Sorry about that. I mean, that's a call from work, but right now I'm doing this, and it's not my schedule, so I'm not answering right now. So let's see. There we go. Nice. Perfect. So let's see how good this supporter is as a utility pick, as a supportive strategy along with the Momochi weapon. And besides, I'm going to be abusing a lot the... Oh, but I need to... Uh-oh. Okay, you see that I have 5 stacks of damage increase on Queen Kanaloa. That's the thing. That's why this is good. In fact, I would say that it is very good. I don't know in what moment I just defeated... Like, it doesn't have... it didn't get rolls on HP increase, that's why. Yeah, that was too easy. Let's do it one more time and see if it is really that busted to be able to use the weapon. Yeah, because we haven't been able to use the weapon effectively on VR for, I mean, forever. But now that we do, it's gonna be very interesting. Yeah, just look at how fast I'm reducing her HP. Yeah, Momochi weapons are meta now. Well, that's a joke, but maybe they will. I mean, look at this. Yeah, I actually didn't test it on VR. I tested it on tower, but I gotta admit, Momochi weapons are not that bad if you're able to abuse your crits in some way. And thanks to Bright Annerose, we can do it now. That's amazing. Great, great, great. So, very quickly, should you roll for this or not? Well, I'm just gonna say one thing. Number one, if you, I'm gonna say one thing and then I'll start enlisting. Okay, so if you have Annerose, you can consider this. If not, and you're not willing to buy the pack, then don't even try it. I mean, you get diminishing returns. The supporter is generally good and you can use it, but the weapon is not. The weapon is pretty valuable. You saw that it allows everyone else to crit, but unfortunately Annerose needs too many buffs because she's not a good debuffer. She's not a good buffer for the party. I mean, Jackson Bound is a good skill, but it only affects herself, so it's not that great. And as a damage dealer, she is not on par with the strongest damage dealers that we have. So if they don't plan on increasing her stats, which is a thing they could do, they should definitely increase her multipliers, her damage multipliers, to go beyond and feel really explosive, so that we can justify using this character as a main attacker with a couple supportive capabilities. So yeah, that's all on the weapon part. The supporter, on the other hand, there's a very important thing to take into consideration, and is that we don't have that many generic damage increase options on blue. Yeah, this is a little bit restrictive on VR because of the crit resistance, but in any other kind of content it is super great. So I would recommend to get this if you can, if you already have an Annerose, because it is just an excellent supporter, because critical damage increase on blue, it's a rare effect, and generic damage increase for blue, it's also kind of rare. So this is just a splashable supporter that you can use whenever you want to go blue. So yeah, well, that's gonna be about it. Let me know in the comments if you plan to roll for it, and if you do, good luck on your rolls, and I'll be seeing you next time. Bye!